Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services in Eastland, Texas. Tune in every week as we share important information to help you and your family live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, legacy and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
Here we are with another episode of Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101. Matt Ervin and Aaron Kennedy with you today, knocking out some things in the market. Aaron, tell us what's been going on this week.
Oh man, the market is still strong. Employment still strong. Earnings on most companies are doing extremely well. The economy is so resilient, it's mind-boggling. It really is. But when we look at the market, there's only a few companies that are really benefiting. I think we talked about this last week. If we take out 5 names, the NASDAQ is, or not the NASDAQ, S&P 500 is negative.
You're right.
So
right.
There is not a lot of companies that are participating. And that's worrisome. We don't really like to see that. But think about this. How many people are sitting on the sidelines sitting in cash?
That's right.
There is so much money waiting for the Fed to turn around.
Yeah.
You know, and we've talked about this as well. If we're thinking like everybody else, we got to do something different. You know, It never works out. But we've had this position since 21, been planning for this. So the rest of the market's on board right now. So we need to think, think outside the box.
Think different.
But here's what I think. If you're looking at the S&P and we're up double digits, people are going to start to get antsy. Yeah. If you look at the NASDAQ and it's up, what?
I mean, it's got to be up like 20, 30 before people start getting antsy.
It is.
Because that thing's been jumping around.
It is. It's up almost 30%. So people are getting that FOMO, or fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And one of two things can happen. If only a couple of names are what's driving the market, and the wind comes out of those sails, the market comes crashing down hard.
Right.
Okay. But on the flip side, what if all this money starts to make its way back into the market?
Yeah.
What if the economy doesn't have a hard landing? You know?
Because everybody's saying soft landing, so ultimately it softly lands. Is that right?
Yeah. What if the Fed says, we've raised interest rates, we see the destruction that it's done to the banks, we see that it's not really helping on our supply problem, maybe we should pause here and wait.
Do you think they're going to do it? So it's like next week, isn't it, that they come out?
We're going to see how political this is. In all actuality, they should raise rates another 25 bips.
And that's what I heard this morning. It's been, a skip. They use the word skip. Though this morning, everybody's getting logical again, saying, well, if they stick to their guns, we should see another one, maybe another 2.
If they're doing what they're saying they're doing, then we should raise.
Right.
If we're saying, you know what, we got an election in 18 months, let's kind of calm this down. Yeah. We're fixing to see. We're really fixing to see. But inflation is still a problem, so they need to be raising rates.
Yeah. Well, the economics don't change with one meeting to the next, truly, right? We're starting to see some of the things come to the data that we've been feeling for the last 18 months.
Yeah, it's all coming in.
But it's going to be super interesting to see what they do.
It's going to be super interesting. So if we got 5 stocks that are really driving the market, everything else is still down.
Mm-hmm.
So we can buy right now, even though the market's up, and we're buying great companies at pretty depressed prices.
Yeah.
Because we did have 20% down last year, and a lot of companies aren't participating this year and then still continue to go down. Right. So it would give us a chance to buy companies cheap, and we really need to be getting in before the rest of the money comes in.
Right. So one of the things that we talked about participating in was things that increased with inflation, right? They kept up with inflation. So now that we're talking about inflation maybe not increasing as fast, maybe time to look to exit some of those?
Maybe. I don't think so yet. Traditionally inflation is very sticky and it's hard to get rid of.
Okay.
If we're used to raising prices, and as a consumer, we're used to seeing increased prices, most companies don't slow down.
So the rate of inflation will stay, or just the prices that we feel now will stay?
Both. We're going to still increase prices, and it ain't going back down.
So when is the Fed going to stop if we keep raising rates?
Well, they're saying, okay, yeah, inflation jumped up 20% last year, but it's only up 10 this year.
Oh, good. So we're winning.
We're doing our job. Next year, it's only up 8. We're doing our job.
So we've got to shift it back positive, because that got gloomy.
Yeah.
That was a bummer.
I
was hoping maybe the rate of inflation was slowing a little bit. But.
It is. What the Fed's looking at is a little bit north of 5 right now. So it is doing what they're saying. But what the Fed is looking at really doesn't pertain to me or doesn't pertain to you. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I eat food, actually. I have to drive to work.
Right.
Well,
and there's been a lot of talk of substitutes now, and you've heard some, but you're starting to hear a lot more. And so it's really even consumers with cash. We know a lot of people have cash. They're not necessarily dipping into that cash to maintain their lifestyle, because I think some of them are looking for those opportunities, but they're absolutely making those substitute purchases.
Yes. Yeah. And that is the thing that's eventually going to stop inflation. Once competition gets so fierce that you have to start lowering your prices, that's when inflation stops. And I was talking to somebody just the other day, and they were telling me how construction companies are so hungry. They've been so beat up. They're willing to take anything.
Like any kind of job.
Any kind of job. Mm-hmm. So if they're willing to do it, that's bringing down prices.
Right.
And that's really what we need. Higher interest rates are not going to do it. We need more competition to drive down prices.
Well, there were some things that came out today that about a third of the home purchases are cash.
Yes.
And that's wild. I know that's a lot of the dealings, because as interest rates get so high, people can't afford them. But I got a new neighbor the other day, and he just moved in a couple days ago. Well, it's his first home purchase. So people are still figuring out a way to buy it.
Yes.
Even with high rates. So it's not stopping. It's slowing, but not
slowing.
stopping.
But that's exactly right. It's not. You can't stop it. But the housing in the United States, that's our largest asset as a country.
Right.
It's almost every family, your home is your biggest asset.
On your personal balance sheet.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. So even from a psychological standpoint, that can be devastating with changes in the value of your home. When everything's good, we see people pulling money out, pulling equity out of their home, going to get new loans, spending that money and just going crazy. But the opposite is true as well. Yeah. So we need prices to come down. We need interest rates to come down. Interest rates are the sticky part, because I don't think the Fed really understands. They're going by a playbook that doesn't work in all scenarios.
Right.
So.
Well, Aaron, I think I threw you off a minute ago, but tell us, I think you kind of had a plan forward, right? We talked about getting ahead of this a little bit, not being on the sidelines. Everybody has the same idea we do now, so what are we doing different?
Yes. Everybody believes the economy's going down. And, I still feel that way.
Yeah.
I think what the Fed's done will drive economic output down, and we're going to move into a recession. But everybody has all this cash on the sideline, and the only thing they're waiting for is Powell to say he's going to lower rates. Mm-hmm. By the time he says that, it will be too late.
Yeah.
It will be too late. Right now, it's still. I wouldn't dare get rid of all of our cash, but I think it's time to start digging down and buying these cheap companies, these super high quality companies that are just beat up.
Yeah.
If you're not a high flying tech name that has anything to do with AI, you're not participating. So grab it, keep some dry powder on the sidelines, and let's take advantage of this this weakness. once everybody's cash on the sidelines hits the market, it's going to raise every boat in the sea.
That's right.
So,
well, and two, typically summers, selling may go away. That fundamental principle doesn't go away. So with that, you should see additional volatility just based on that own principle.
Yes.
So maybe some additional buying opportunities arise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, that's exciting. Aaron, we're getting close to time. Any last minute thoughts to get us wrapped up for today?
No. It's a very, very hot day. Summer's here.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Spend time with your family. My son's team just won a 7-on-7 tournament
Awesome.
in Abilene, so we are headed back to the state tournament and pretty pumped about that.
Yeah. Well, now he's like 7 foot tall now. The kid had a growth spurt, so.
Yeah, he's a little bit bigger than me. That's a little bit scary. I can't tell him to finish his green beans anymore without him.
Yeah, he's saying, Dad, can you play?
You finish my green beans, Dad.
Yeah, that's funny. That's awesome. All right. Well, everybody, I hope you have a great day, a great weekend, and spend time with your loved ones. If you need something from us, please call us. We'd love to take good care of you and want to continue to do so. So to wrap up today's episode of Black and White Market Minute on Life Planning 101.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Smart Money Group and Kennedy Financial Services. If you have questions, you can email them to lifeplanning@kennedy-financial.com. Be sure to tune in next week for more Life Planning 101. The opinions expressed herein are those of the firm and are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass. Any opinions, projections, or forward-looking statements expressed herein are solely those of the author, may differ from the views or opinions expressed by other areas of the firm, and are only for general informational purposes as of the date indicated. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Smart Money Group LLC. Kennedy Financial Services and Smart Money Group LLC are separate entities and are not owned or controlled by Calton & Associates Incorporated.